I let guys know. In fact, I remember coming in the league and I told guys, hey, look, man, I got a family to feed. So don't come near me out there because I got to handle my business. So, and we were able to do more than guys could do now. So I didn't have no problem. I'm trying to break your neck, your back, and everything, So, I mean, you could just let it all out.
I'm trying to touch your life forever.
I want to affect your future. If you come in my area, you coming through there. Yeah, and that's the way, that's where I was taught to play the linebacker position. You got to be the aggression of the defense.
Welcome into another exciting edition of Up On Game Presents Conversations with a Legend. This week, I got a special guy, a hero of mine, a role model of sorts in so many different ways, not only on the field, but off the field. This should be a great interview. Why? Because, well, my next guest, he's in the media. He represents the media. He has shown us the way as to how you get into it and you do it the right way, but also just a super well-rounded, awesome dude that we have all respected and have leaned on as a leader. My man, G. Cobb, otherwise known as Garry Cobb, the first one. What's happening, OG? How you feeling?
Hey, it's an exciting year. I'm having a lot of fun, of course, being around the game and all the people that, I've been counted around the game, man. I mean, football's been a big part of my life, sports,
Yeah.
So I enjoy it, and I love the competition. Love to see people, hey, do they show up? Who shows up? When it's on the line, who shows up? That's always fascinating, and I really got it, took a lot of that from my mom. My mom she's always been a clown,
Okay.
Comedian.
All
So I get a lot of stuff from my mom and stuff. She's always been a cut up and everything. So I got some of that from her.
Love that. I love that. So talk to me about your Eagles. Now, just so people have a background on you before we get going, before I had you answer that. From Carolina, born in Carolina, spent time in Carolina,
Yep.
but ended up going up to Stamford, Connecticut, where a ton of really good football is played there. It's low key. People might not know that, but one of my babies that I mentor, Kyrie Fort, the Fort family is from Stamford.
Oh, I know Kyrie and Dad and everything.
Indeed, guy. and so I know all about football in that area. You came from that area, played for the Black Knights in high school, and then obviously went to what some people consider the other linebacker not the Penn State or OG linebacker but y'all do have more Hall of Famers than us at USC. But you played linebacker and had an amazing career, got drafted by the Cowboys, went to Detroit, really, made major claim in establishing yourself in Detroit, but really, finished it out strong in Philadelphia, ended up staying in Philly. I mean, just talk to me about now, fast forward to where we are right now. You cover the Philadelphia Eagles. It didn't seem like they were going to be a playoff team this year. It didn't look like it was going to play out the way it played out. But lo and behold, they catch on. Mm-hmm. If you're paying attention, they got the best running attack, in the game right now. And
that's right.
And they could be a very dangerous team because interior line wise, there's not too many guys that can deal with them up front. So what's your take? I mean, I made a bold prediction that they're going to knock Tampa Bay out in this first round.
I would not be surprised at all because, Tampa's leaking oil. They got some guys hurting and key players that are leaking oil. And they're not the Tampa Bay that we saw last year. Last year, you could not run on Tampa Bay. You don't even think about trying to run on Tampa Bay.
Right.
And, I was looking at, against Carolina, and I saw people breaking into the secondary. I'm going, this is going to be a problem. So the Eagles have an outstanding offensive line. Mm-hmm. They got a young kid, Jordan Mailata. You're going to hear a lot about him.
Okay.
You know, he reminds me of a guy who I played with at USC
Uh-oh.
by the name of Anthony Munoz.
Ooh.
Now, I'm talking about as an athlete.
Okay.
Now you're talking about, you know, this kid Mailata, 6'8", 380 pounds.
And can do it.
And can move.
Right.
Good athlete. You know, I remember Munoz. See, I played baseball at USC. Really, you know, baseball was a big sport of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I see Munoz go out and play third base. You know, 6'5", 330 pounds, moving, making the throws, you know, an athlete. And that's what I see in Mailata.
Okay.
And so, you know, the potential is just through the roof with him because he's still learning the game. You know, he was a rugby player, but he's an athlete and a competitor. Mm-hmm. So you got all that with him. You got a kid next to him, Landon Dickerson from Alabama, who was a leader at Alabama. He's a good old boy who believes in coming with the heat. I mean, big, about 330, 340, and they're very physical. That's a young left side of their line, both about 22 years old.
Okay.
And they're very physical. Then you got Jason Kelsey, who is really the most athletic center I've ever seen. I mean,
and the leader, right? He's the leader of the unit.
He's the leader. And so you got them, and then, you know, Lane Johnson on the other side, who's a Pro Bowl right tackle, and they got a kid, Nate Herbeck, who's really just coming into his own at the right guard spot. Mm-hmm. And they've been moving everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter who they have played. They've taken over the game at times and just start pummeling the other team. And they just got a really outstanding running attack. And a kid from Penn State, Miles Sanders, who's got that burst. I mean, he's got he hasn't really just tapped into all his talent. Mm-hmm. So they're just coming into their own, man. They can run the ball on anybody. And you got, you know, Jalen Hurts.
You trust him? You trust Hurts?
What's it? I trust him. Yeah, I trust him now. You know, he's still growing as a player. We haven't seen anywhere near where he's going to get to.
Okay.
But
is he going to have the chance to get to where he's trying to go?
I think he is because I don't see anybody in the draft, you know. So I don't think there's a quarterback that can take his job in the draft, and he's getting better. He's playing better from the pocket, and that's the thing. You know, he twisted his ankle. Mm-hmm. You know, it might have been a good thing that he twisted the ankle because it made him stay in the pocket. So he's had to stay there, people in his face, make the throw, keep his eyes downfield. Because he makes me think of Randall Cunningham. So,
come on now.
Well, I'm saying this from this standpoint. Randall didn't progress as fast as he could have when he was a young quarterback. Okay. Because he was thinking of running all the time. Okay. So he would say at times, you know, I'm going, Randall, man, what are you looking at? Well, I was looking at the line because I was waiting to get that opening. Well, you know, you can't play quarterback looking at the line. Right. And so it slowed down his progress. And with Jalen, sometimes he takes off too early. He doesn't give the play a chance. His receivers can become frustrated because he's not looking at them. He's thinking about taking off. So, you know, it's the progress of a young quarterback. And, you know, I love seeing it because you see him developing. But the thing about the kid is he's a worker. He can be coached. And so he's getting better every week. And I love the progress I'm seeing with him. You know, I don't think he's all the way there yet, but I tell you what, he's going to create problems for teams because of his athleticism and his ability to, at the level that he can run that pass offense right now.
All right. I want to get to the legends. I see you got your legend shirt on. I want to get to all of those things, your background, your story, but I'm gonna stay football right now. You mentioned Randall Cunningham. That was a teammate of yours, so you're not just giving analysis. You're giving, I was your teammate, and we played together, and we're in the locker room, we're on the field, we're talking these things through. Now, you were on the field with Randall Cunningham, with Jerome Brown, with Seth Joyner, with the Minister of Defense himself, Reggie White. What was that like? And granted, and we'll go to college as well, You mentioned Anthony Munoz, who's arguably the greatest offensive lineman, one of them to ever play in the game, in the history of the game. You were used to playing with amazing athletes. I mean, all right, so let's do this. Let's run it. You played with Ronnie Lott. You played with Marcus Allen. You played with, like you mentioned, Anthony Munoz. You experienced greatness at a young stage, and that continued on into Philadelphia. So let's do this. Let's start at USC. You went to the University of Southern California, as I mentioned, and you were able to have a ton of success. Just walk us through, how did you end up at USC? And it was such a golden era for that school and its football program. You guys made it to 2 Rose Bowls. You played, you won 1 national title while you were there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys pretty much, that was the dominant days of the Trojans playing football. How did you, from Stanford, how did you end up at USC? Because generally speaking, they didn't go across country because they didn't have to. So to offer you a scholarship where you were at, I mean, that says a lot about how bad a young man you were when you were playing.
Well, I was a good athlete. I really played football, basketball, and baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and baseball was a big sport for me. And I went to USC with the thinking that I was going to play football and baseball, because John McKay recruited me. And John McKay was not only the football coach, but he was the athletic director.
Mm-hmm.
So he cared about all of the sports. Unfortunately, after my freshman year, he left and went to Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So when he left, they said, look, you're going to be in spring ball every year, So it cut into my baseball season.
Baseball,
but when I went to USC, it was a growing up period for me. I was not ready for what I was going to see. I mean, from a standpoint that I went in and, our linebackers then, David Lewis, he played about 11, 12 years in the NFL. He was one of our linebackers. Rod Martin was the other outside linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Clay Matthews was one of the inside linebackers. And then this Eric Williams, who played for the Cardinals for a bunch of years.
Mm-hmm.
But all these guys were, there was just talent everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was just so much talent. And if you were going to play, you had to get serious, or you could be over there on the bench and you never see you. So I had to go there, and it meant getting serious. My dad had kind of got me ready, because my dad was an Army guy,
Mm-hmm.
So he'd kick you in your butt. But I wanted to get away from him. That's one of the reasons I went to USC. I want to get away from my pops. I'm going, man, because he was a pusher,
He was tough.
He was tough. And so when I went out there, I realized he had been getting me ready for this.
Okay.
And everything he had taught me, talking about discipline and work. And I come from a big family too. We had 7 kids,
Okay.
and from down south, working hard and all that, that's pops, and so I was really being prepared for that. And so when I went to USC, I had to get serious. I had to get in the weight room. I had to get tougher. I had to get serious about, knowing the game. And it was really getting me ready for the NFL, because you had to be ready to compete in practice,
mm-hmm.
because it was harder than the game, because, the people we were going against in practice were all future pros.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just the element there. And then the big thing about that time at USC, there was a demand for excellence. There was nothing else accepted. And the guys on the team demanded it. So you had, people challenging you. And really, Ronnie Lott came, he was like a couple years behind me. But, we had great people that when I got there, they were just great players and great leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a demand for things. So it was just a great atmosphere to grow, not only as a football player, but as a person. You just set certain standards, and you knew if you wanted to get something done, this is the way you do things. You really go after excellence. You be consistent about what you're doing. You show up ready to go to work every day. All those type of things. That's what I learned, and really was, like I said, had already been taught to me by my dad. Mm-hmm. And so I got, really a practical lesson of it, there at USC, and we had to get serious because people were ready for us anytime we showed up, and we had to be ready to play, and that was really just a great atmosphere. I look back and I think about all the people there. We had a lot of great players that never got a chance to play. I mean, and the guys that played there, we had some players that got injured and never got a chance to shine in the NFL, but they were great players there on the college level. So you just really, I just really value all that time. And like when I go out for the Super Bowl this year, of course, I'll see a lot of those guys and get a chance to talk. And I love, trying to talk to young people and share some of the things that I've learned. Because I get a chance to go into the prisons and talk to young guys and try to tell them, man, look, you got talent. This is what you got to do with it, though. You got to be around the right people. You got to set goals and be willing to work every day. You can't take days off. And you know how it is when you're out there playing and as much scrimmaging as we used to do, you had to have a talk with yourself every day.
Sure.
And you going like, look, the guy you want to be honest with, what they say is that man in the mirror, that, did I give everything I had today? I'm not out here cheating and stealing, because, they would joke and say, hey, we got some people stealing today, and sometimes we would start over practice because coach said, look, we're not getting it done. Okay.
Start it over.
Hey, take a lap. We're starting all over today,
Yeah.
And that type of mentality is just, I love to see it. And, that's where excellence is at. I mean,
sure.
That's where you find excellence. So while I was there at USC, there were times, in sitting down with Ronnie Lott, we're talking about winning, what winning is all about. What does it take to win? And we talk about these type of qualities, and to have, him playing safety, and let him know, look, Ronnie, make sure you're hitting them and not me, man, because when he's coming up, he's coming up totally wide open. And so I said, look, Ronnie, man, I'm going to make sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And you make sure you leave my knees alone, or my head, or whatever else, because he would be coming up. I mean, it's just a great player, and just had the drive that was really special, and that's what really the great elite players had, that kind of a drive. And he had a drive in him that at times when he was younger, it was almost where he had to kind of temper it some, because he was ready to go after people and just lay folks out. I'm talking
every
about
day. What type of conversations did y'all have?
Well, his father was a military guy too. And there were certain things that we had both learned from our fathers where, they had, were being prepared for what was a life and death battle. And so some of the parts of playing the NFL and playing football, there's a viciousness to the game that as a defensive player, now, of course, that's been tempered some, in the NFL. But when the guy was coming across that middle, Ronnie Lott, man, I'm talking about our own teammates. Just lay them out, man, where they got to come get him.
Right.
And
own teammates.
Because that's the way we practice. And, he had a running start, man, and he was just like, I don't know, he was almost like he went to a different place inside of him that would come out. Because, he's a great guy, but as a player, man, I'm telling you, that's why I would tell him, hey,
he's a great guy, but on the field.
just a tremendous competitor. And, and I saw him win as a young player. And that's what really is fascinating to me. When you see a young guy and to see him make a mistake, let's say in a game, like as a freshman, and to see how serious he was about it, man, there's something about this guy, man. It's something about him that is just different. And it's because he demanded so much of himself. See, that's where it would start at. He demanded so much of himself. And that's why when he said something, it really carried a lot of weight with everybody on the team, because this guy is committed. so committed to where you're going like, Ronnie, man, we can't practice like this, man. We got like, we only have about 5, we got 7 receivers, man. We
And you
can't.
taking them all out.
We can't,
taking them all out.
Yeah, they would have to have talks with him, man.
Right.
So they had to, kind of tone it down. But man, I knew that if he was sitting inside of me and this tight end going in there and he reaching up like this,
over.
I have pity for you, man, because there's going to be ribs or something just broke.
Right.
And he was coming, and that was just I hadn't played with anybody with that type of commitment,
Yeah.
So I knew that he was going to be a special player, and because I saw it like as a young player, but of course he was growing then too, and but just a great player, and that ferociousness was just a special on a special level. Now, but we had other players that were like that, but he took it to a whole nother level. So yeah. I never played with anybody who played like that.
But then you had Marcus Allen on the other side of the ball.
Well, now really, Marcus was a safety. He came out of San Diego, and when they recruited him, he was a safety. Mm-hmm. But we didn't have anywhere for him to play because we had Dennis Smith, who played for about 12 years for Denver. Uh-huh. He was the other safety. So we going like, well, we don't have anywhere to play. Well, put him on the opposite side of the ball. Let him maybe be a fullback. He's going to block for Charlie White.
And they put him at fullback.
They put him at fullback, and which is a very demanding position. And when I saw him
especially back then,
because you're just sitting in the eye, and you gotta be running in. They're sending in you on the defensive tackle, on the linebackers, everybody. You got to go in there and hit people.
I never knew
but
that.
Marcus was had some of the similarities to Ronnie when it came to his toughness.
Uh-huh.
He was he loved to hit, and so he didn't have any problem going in there, and he became of course that fullback, and then eventually he took over that job, as the guy running with the ball, and just went to a whole nother level. But another special player. But
that just don't make sense. He wasn't that. He was slim. He don't look like no fullback, man.
No, I don't know how he did it, but he just was very, very tough. And what happened is, and of course I knew him as a freshman. See, that's why I remember. So he's a young pup, So when I encounter him in the NFL, see, I'm still thinking he's that same dude over there.
It's a different dude.
And the dude's about to take my head off. I'm going, man, who? Oh, okay, all right. This ain't that young boy that I knew.
He's a man now. He'll be a man now, right?
Grown man,
right?
And really, he had that when he was. He had that toughness. He never lost that. So even though he was a running back, he had that type of defensive type of mentality, where he was a tough dude that didn't have no problems mixing it up with anybody on the field. And so that really helped him, I think, as a running back, because he ran with that force, as well as being able to shake people and outrun people and all that. So it's just, I mean, I'm just amazed that the total player he became, because he was really one of the most complete football players, because he could throw the football, he could catch the football, and he could pretty much do anything on the football field as a blocker, runner, whatever. He could probably play just about any position because he was that type of football player.
Talking to Garry Cobb, my man played for USC. We talk about USC. You talk about the upbringing. One of the things that I do in these interviews is try to get a gauge and an understanding of what guys went through at that early age. Did you have a moment was it moments plural? Was it the experiences with your father? Was it something that you experienced with your mom or your brothers? What actually defined Garry Cobb to develop well enough to go play and experience those things at USC?
Well, I think a lot of it was my parents, the family. I was very fortunate to have a mom and dad that were committed to each other for, they were married for 70 years. And there was a commitment there. We never even think of them not being together, and the commitment to hard work, because really my dad and my mom, they dropped out of school in the 8th grade down south because they didn't see the value in education. But when my father went to the Army, he saw that the only people that got promotions were people with a high school diploma. So when he got out of the Army, he went back to school. He drove the bus, went to the school, got out of the bus, went to school with the kids, got his high school diploma. Now, we didn't realize that was going to affect our lives, because my pops would just come in the house and we're looking at TV. Cut that TV off, go get a book in your hand. So he would shut down the TV. He wanted us reading. And really one of the big issues in a lot of challenged neighborhoods is really reading. When I go into prisons, one of the big issues is reading, because see, the guys can't read. And when they get behind in reading, they start acting up because they don't want everybody to know, look, I can't read. So that becomes an issue. But he made sure that he let us know, you're going to get your education. I don't care what all these other kids do. You're going to get your education. And if we started having grades that dropped below a B, he was talking about taking us off the team and stuff. And he was serious. So we had a valuable education and hard work. That was something that was drilled in us. And not only where they said it, but they lived it, because my mom, she used to clean house, and my dad worked as a postal clerk. And then we had a job where, as a family, we cleaned buildings. We had a Jesse Cobb maintenance service. And we were the workers. And I used to complain, because I was a big, star in high school then. And my pops would pull up with the station wagon. And I know after practice, I got to go with them to clean that building.
Wow.
I'm like, come on, I'm the star now,
Right.
But that was the best thing that could happen. It kept me out of trouble. Working, after practice, going in there, picking up garbage can, all, it's making
learning
you
the
stronger,
value. Yeah.
Learning the value of work. And I didn't like that. As I said, that's one of the reasons I went all the way out from Connecticut, went out to USC.
But them values traveled with you.
They traveled with me. And I, like I said, I didn't realize I was being trained to be prepared for everything else and all the rest of us, and all my brothers and sisters. Now, my father really gave me a break because he really wanted me to go to Princeton. But he let me go to USC. But my brothers and sisters, they went to Ivy League schools. He wanted, he wanted that education. So all of those type of qualities, it was just in our environment. And I was really, really blessed to be able to, grow up in an environment where you got good people, pops and moms working hard for us, and always putting the family first. They wanted to see us do things, that they never got a chance to do. And that was their dream, to see us do things. And so they used to joke and say, when my pops would come out for the Rose Bowl game, they said, well, he didn't need a plane. Pop was so excited. He didn't need a plane. So they would come out and they were able to see us. Now, my pops, he passed this past year.
Oh, man. Sorry to hear that.
88 years old. My mom, she's 87. And but he got a chance to see a lot of things. And now his grandkids. And so now with our kids, they're all, great, they're doing all kind of things. And so he was able to see that. And that's what I'm a part of.
The fruit of your labor. The fruit of your labors. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm a part of. And I love to see that. So that's why, I guess in a way, I've always been around guys and helping teammates. I've had some great teammates, but, if a guy asks me something, be able to share something with them to keep them going. I might see something in their game that I can talk to them about and be able to help them. That's something that's always been something special to me, because I played on some teams that are very close. Like our Eagles team was very close. Those USC teams were always very close. And so you had to keep it real, because the guys in the locker room gonna keep it real.
They're gonna know, right? Yeah.
And if whatever's going on, they're gonna be honest with you. And really, that environment it's kind of a family environment where it's healthy and where you got everybody pulling for each other. At the same time, willing to challenge each other too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's just a great environment. And I was really fortunate to be in those kind of environments because I was in that kind of environment when I was with the Eagles. And then I really finished up my career with the Cowboys.
Mm.
And down there with that crazy Michael Irvin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A lot of the same things. See, he had experienced a lot of this at Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came there with the Cowboys were down, And I was really near the end of my career. In fact, last year, I really stole my last year.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't
I
nothing wrong with it. It happens every once in a while. I stole a year. I stole one, and man, I missed the Super Bowl about 1 year, G.
Did you?
Missed it
By
by
1
1
year, huh?
year. One year.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I went through that, and but I saw that team coming together. See, and that's just fascinating when you see, guys coming together, and really the football team, the offensive line that Tom Landry had,
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Johnson took our same offensive line, turned them into Super Bowl champions.
Goons.
Straight
goons.
And they went to work, man. But I saw that, the start of that,
mm-hmm.
and that was special. It's just you just see people putting in the work, and that's what happened when you got that competition in practice,
mm-hmm.
and you realize, man, there's something special happening here, man.
Yeah.
There's something special happening, and then to step back and you see it flourish to a Super Bowl championship team. It's really something that's really special. But, success and winning, it's the same formula. You got to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put together a plan. You got to stay with that plan daily. You can't be just hitting it and quitting it. You got to be consistent with it. And, man, you got to eat, sleep, and live it
mm-hmm.
to where you can taste it,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is you got to get to where you think about it and you dwell on it and sit there and, it's a kind of form of, people talk about meditation, where you sit and you think on, you can, as a young player, you're sitting there seeing yourself make plays.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ways to practice.
It's your obsession.
It becomes your obsession.
Absolutely.
And as you get into that and you put together a group of people that got this obsession to win,
yeah.
And it's hard if they stay in a harmony and they still keep going in that same way. And you got a leader that can keep everybody going in the same way.
That's right.
You see it starting to happen, and we are building something special here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love to see with sports. And and I've been around that, and when you see it happening, man, just like I love the thing about Jalen Hurts, kid's a worker, man.
Mm-hmm.
Not talker. Kid's a worker, man. He wants to go out. You see everybody else going in. He's still out there throwing outs and working with somebody, going, man, this kid's got something, man.
Okay. All right.
Kid's getting better.
Let me throw this one out at you, G.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There were some serious brands in at USC. Now the whole NIL situation turning into what it's turned into.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me if there was branding and NIL opportunities for y'all back then. If things all given were the same as they are today with social media and the exposure, what would Garry Cobb have done branding wise with that? How do you think it should be handled? And just let me know, like, are you a proponent? Are you a supporter of that? Or do you feel like it should stay the way that it was when guys like us were in school?
Well, without a doubt, it should change. In no way it should stay like it was. I knew then, come on. You see all the money flowing, and all the people that are doing the work are not getting any of the money.
We get meals. We get sweatsuits.
And tell you, be happy. Be happy
right.
with it. I used to tell my wife back then, because we met at USC.
Uh-huh.
She knows the way I felt. I'm going, this is a total ripoff. Look at everybody's getting paid but us.
Yeah.
And our likeness is all over the place. And we just come in an area, and people getting all excited and everything, and everybody else is getting paid. You know,
Mhm.
and you know, when you talk about television, the money. I mean, so I do like the fact that they've opened things up. You
Okay.
know, without a doubt, and I think they should sit down and talk. There could be something worked out where they can make something closer to the way. Come on, this is America.
Mhm.
You got people with talent that can do a certain skill. They got certain skills and everything. They should be compensated for that.
Mhm.
And so, especially when you think about businesses are not after people like me. Okay, I'm too old for people. They're not really after me. They want me to do some business with them immediately, but they really want the younger people. Yeah, you know, they want folks. You know, you got a few
No,
dollars.
they want a Gary Cobb.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know.
It's how you position it when
That's right.
you go about doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
People
Now,
want
so
G
I
Cobb.
won't say it that way. I will say just from an age standpoint,
Okay.
they want that guy who's coming out of college or girl, 18, 20 years old, 22, 20, because they're going to have them for 60, 70 years. So they're after them. Well, if you got a young athlete who is very popular, why shouldn't he be compensated? You know, because he's got something to sell, you know? And so I definitely could see where if we had the opportunity back then, you know, and playing for, you know, elite teams, of course, that gives you the opportunity. But, you know, with all of the different sports paraphernalia and all the different sales of things that are going on there, not to mention, you know, autograph stuff and all that whole business, you know, there's definitely dollars out there. And with the young crowd, you know, the college crowd, that the people are after them, you know, so badly, they're definitely, I would have definitely, you know, taken advantage of that. You know, but as exactly why, how, I know the kid with Alabama who's going to be, of course, you know, playing tonight.
Bryce Young.
You know, he made big bucks right away, and deservedly
over
so.
$1 million.
Yeah, over $1 million like that.
Yeah.
Just because of the position he in. Of course, he's going out and show he deserves
Yes.
more.
Yes.
But I was happy to see that, and I like the things that are going on with that. In fact, they got a movie that I was seeing that they come out which deals with some of this. With I think the name of is National Champions.
Yeah.
Some type of movie dealing with this whole issue, but clearly, you know, I mean, as a kid, you know, I'm looking at Penn State, and I can remember John Capoletti, you know, and the different players, and you know, linebacker and the different guys coming out, and of course, you know, the Pittsburgh lineman with Jack Ham.
Jack Ham, yeah.
You know, coming out of Penn State and everything. So, you know, those guys, I mean, those were heroes of mine, man. You know, I'm looking at them, and, you know, of course, you start emulating guys. You wear your socks like him. You know, how does he stand in a huddle? You know, how does he take on a block? You know, and Jack Ham was so great at playing with his hands, man. He never got entangled with a blocker, man. He was off that block.
Because he was little. If they got a hold of him, he was going to be in trouble.
I don't know how he did it, man.
Yeah.
But he was an amazing player, you know, in that whole Steeler group. You know, I grew up watching those guys, man. I'm going like, man, I could just taste it. I want to go out. This is what I want to do.
Right.
You know, to go out there, smell that grass, man, and get out there in the middle of that. Boy, that was an exciting time, because that was when I was growing up in high school and everything. And but I enjoyed, you know, I still enjoy it now, but I enjoyed every bit of that.
You had seasons where you exceeded 100 tackles. There was one year, I believe, you had 126 tackles. You've talked a lot. You've given a lot of flowers out during this interview. But you were a dog. You were a dog on that field, G. And people respected you for the time. I mean, you still look good right now. What was your thing? Like, I get that Ronnie Lott was out there. I get that you was out there with Brown and with Reg and all. I get all that. What was Garry Cobb's thing? Like, what was your thing? Like, did you have a preparation? Was there something about the weight room? Was it like, was it the film room? Like, was it all of it? What was your thing in terms of how you approached, how you played the game? Because in a lot of ways, you were an overachiever, you know, and I relate to that. So I love hearing the stories of an overachiever. And you're a linebacker that was overachieving. I mean, and just like I had to do at times, we had to do the defensive end thing.
Right.
But we always had to be ready. What was that like? What take me through your mindset? Like, how did you approach being Garry Cobb? What did that represent? What did that mean?
Well, the big thing that I like, and I, in a way, I kind of get ready for, the shows I do, in preparing, first of all, studying what the other team does. I love to sit down, look at tape of them, and, in practice and things, when we're competing against each other, I love the aggression. I love to be able to, I let guys know. In fact, I remember coming in the league and I told guys, hey, look, man, I got a family to feed, so don't come near me out there because I got to handle my business. So, and we were able to do more than guys could do now.
Oh, I get it.
So I didn't have no problem. I'm trying to break your neck, your back, and everything.
Different era.
I mean, you could just let it all out.
I'm trying to touch your life forever.
I want to affect your future.
Yes.
If you come in my area, you coming through there. Yeah, and that's the way, that's where I was taught to play the linebacker position.
Right.
You got to be the aggression of the defense.
That's right.
You're the force of the defense. When people go, okay, the defense, when them linebackers come out, when you walk out there, when they even get near you, they go, okay, the guys start swallowing.
They scary. Because
they know we getting ready to get serious. I'm coming at you. And when that line, when I'm following you down the line and I'm staying, I'm a step behind that running back. When you try to cut back up in there in that hole, I'm coming out of that ground.
That's right.
I'm coming out of the ground because I'm coming out of my legs and everything. I'm coming up all the way through you.
That's right.
I'm gonna run all the way through you like an arrow.
Yeah.
Stuck like you stuck. And
come on, talk to him, Cobb.
And when you're hitting people like that, I like doing it in practice.
Them woo licks.
Get them woo licks where and you all you got to do is step back. You know that look, this boy here is trying to find out where he is.
That's right. That's right.
And he ain't coming through here no more like that. All of a sudden now.
Now he tippy toe. Now it's tippy toe time. Tippy toe. That's right. That's right.
So, and that's the way that you take the other team out of their game, man. Because people they know, look, man, we need to try to find a way to get out of here, man. Because they don't want to come back through there. They don't want to run that play no more. And that and you're able to do it in different ways as a linebacker. Then we used to get the chance to pass rush more. See, because when I came into the NFL, linebackers weren't able to do everything that they do now. And really, Lawrence Taylor kind of opened that door when they let him start pass rushing. Then they started letting everybody rush the passes. So now, you rush the passer. In fact, I had a buddy of mine that I played with in Detroit, Al Bubba Baker, who was a piece of work. Great pass rusher. But, I would be calling the defense. So I'm giving the defense, and we had a call for when I would give them a blue call. That means you guys don't worry about the run. We got the run. Y'all go get the quarterback. Okay. Don't worry about any fakes or anything. And times they be in their stance and they go, Cobb, this is a blue call. I'm going, man, I got it. Did I say blue? I didn't say blue.
I didn't say blue.
You gotta play. Yeah, you gotta play the run. You gotta play the run because they wanted to just get the quarterback. So so Al, that's the way. So Al used to say, 1,000 tackles equal 1 sack. because he made his living getting to the quarterback.
Yeah.
In fact, I think his early year he had a 20 sack season.
Wow.
Which was the record for a while till some of the other guys came in and broke a straight hand, broke it.
Yeah.
And I think Watt,
Reggie,
Reggie White,
yeah.
Reggie broke it too.
JJ, yeah.
But those guys loved to rush the passer. But the thing I was able to do at the linebacker position, you know, you really were the personality of the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you had a good defense, if you had a tough defense, you had to have good linebackers, and you had to have aggressive, tough linebackers. But I was always in a leadership position too. So I was the captain because I would end up helping other guys out too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like telling people where they want to go, where they're supposed to be at, and challenging them too. You know, during practice, man, you know, if you out here stealing, going, hey man, you know, you stole on us today, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I thought, you was out there stealing today. You know,
right? Yeah,
and that type of thing. Because if you're gonna have a good team, you got to
have
hold
each other accountable. Yeah,
got to hold everybody accountable. So
yeah,
that's really what I really, I guess in a way, when I still see those guys, some of them will call me, and I know that they're not doing some things they should be doing. You know, and the guy kind of talked to him, and so I'll see some of the guys at the Super Bowl, you know, and still have that relationship with them because you know, I kind of think, you know, that's my place, you know, is to be there and be a mirror, a kind of a sounding board for guys, and you know, here we are, you know, we're in our 60s now, and I still have that relationship with a lot of those guys because you know, they know I would challenge them.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that because you were a part of the launching of the Legends community and still a major part of it. And clearly that's something that you have been God gifted to be able to do is impact other guys' lives and be able to talk to them. I mean, I just remember the first times we were around each other, just the impact that you had on me and how our interactions were going when we were going through all those trainings and different things like that. It just felt like you said that I was with a leader. I was with one of the captains. Like, that's Cap. Like, all right, like we did our workshops, we did our things. I mean, we even did transitional stuff. Like we did a lot of different things to prepare and equip ourselves to be able to serve and assist one another as former players, and now which I love, being in the Legends community. You don't have to have had a Hall of Fame career to be a legend. We're all legends where we came from. If you made it in, you're a legend. Like you can't say bust to me if you ain't a part of that percentage. I'm sorry. You can't say you weren't good. I'm sorry. Can't do it. If you understand what it took to just even be able to put on the uniform in the first place, then you realize that we're all winners and we're all legends in our own right. So that much I totally respect. You have been a very, very integral part of the development of the program. Tell me about the Legends program from your perspective and how that has played a part in enriching your life and what you do.
Well, you know, I really say, you know, in a lot of ways, I guess I was already in the role, you know, because as I said, with a lot of the guys that I played with, you know, I was kind of, you know, always the team captain or one of the leaders on the team. So guys would ask me things, you know, even when I was a younger player. I guess in one case, because I had gotten married in college, became, you know, a dad, you know, got to, you know, pay the bills, do things. So it made me grow up. And then also being in an environment, like I said, at USC, where, look, you know, they would tell me, hey, we got to get everybody going. And they would come and ask me, and the coaches would tell me. So in that environment, it's really the same after we've gotten out of the football that, you know, guys have to make sure they're taking care of themselves. Are you taking care of yourself? Meaning, like, you can't be eating like that, man. You know, you got to watch your weight. You know, if you got a challenge, you got diabetes and different things, man, you got to make note of that, you know, and the way that you're living, you know. And if you're not living in a disciplined life, then you're going to have problems. You know, yeah, everybody's going to have a good time. You let your hair down some, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we all need that. You need to be able to get away and do something that's fun for you. And one of the things that we talk about all the time is self-care, which is you've got to, you're giving out to people. You got to take care of yourself. You got to do some things that's nourishing to you. Could be, how some people, you have a relationship with them, you just laugh every time you're around this person, you just start laughing. Well, you need to be in that atmosphere where you just need to laugh sometimes and just have a good laugh, something that's really could be silly. You sit there, it is nourishing for you to get a good laugh in, so you don't need to get too serious. Life can't get to where it's just so serious. It's all mourning, there's a time for mourning, but then there's a time to have a good time. But, and then the thing that I enjoy is I like seeing people flourish. I like to try to put them in an atmosphere where you see somebody flourish, whether they're a young person, a senior, it doesn't matter who, just to see people do well and them get whatever gift they have, where they get that out there and they utilize that gift, that does something for me. And so that's what I get out of, being, I'm a transition coach and being a Legends coordinator, because we get a chance to do that with guys. We get a chance to help them as they transition out of the NFL, and where guys have to go on to another career, that they've been their time in the NFL, but now being able to utilize the things they learned from the NFL and what they learned from playing football, putting together a plan. Putting together a plan. That is something that's fundamental to getting anything done, is you got to have a plan you put together. And then you've got to stick with that plan. Now, you're going to maybe have to adjust it at different times, but you got to stick with it. And if you got something where it has something to do and kind of directs what you're doing on a daily basis, and your whole attitude and having a vision and going after that vision, those are the types of things we're able to share with young players that are coming out of the game, and I love to do that. And then we work with the legends throughout the country, and to make sure guys are, doing different things to take care of themselves, that they're in a good environment in their home if they're having some type of challenge, because we do have guys, have challenges, like we all have had challenges. And so being able to go and encourage a guy to go get some counseling, to sit down and talk to somebody about what it is that's the challenge. And of course, I have conversations all the time with guys, but it's just a nourishing community. We have so many great guys that played the game of football. Just, I could go on and on and on, not just great players, but great people. And I enjoy, seeing you on TV when you come on, because once you meet a guy, it's like, I'm on his team. He's on my team. I'm rooting for him. I don't care what's going on. I'm rooting for him, And so that's what that's what I'm a part of. And that's what Legends has allowed us to really just live that, And that's what I can appreciate about the Legends community and being a part of it. And I enjoy it. I mean, I'm looking forward to Super Bowl. When I go out there, I'm going to see all the guys. We'll do a bunch of laughing. But, there are going to be some tough conversations I have to have with some guys, because, some things that, hey, need to know, hey, man, I know this situation here, but I'm going to be honest with you. Hey, I care about you. But because I care about you, I got to tell you, man, you need to do this. Hey, and if you need some help to walk this out, then I'll help you walk it out. But we got to get you going in this way,
In our transitional training, transitional coach training, we're trained to be first responders. People don't realize the level of brilliance that some, a lot of us bring to the table. And the NFL provided programming for those who believed enough in themselves and believed enough in servicing their fellow man, our brothers, in this way and in this regard. And you mentioning those conversations that you have to have, just talk a little bit about the intensity. I think we did like 9-hour days of training, or it was grueling. It was grueling. But not only was it grueling, but again, it was edifying to know that we were in a training where if one of our brothers was thinking of hurting themselves, maybe it was coming down to the end, and only one of us would be able to talk them off of the ledge, maybe literally and figuratively at times, that we were prepared to do so. And you're doing that, and you're living in that purpose. Just talk, what, maybe give us an example of maybe one of the most intense, transitional coaches, first responder moments that you've had to endure since doing it. Because it's got to be close to a decade that you've been doing it now.
That's right. Been doing over a decade. I have experience. I can tell one right now, that didn't happen that long ago, where, I had a player call me. He was in a situation with him and his wife where they were having some problems. And I had to talk to him and get his attention, that it wasn't just about them. See, it's about him first. The only person that he's in charge of is himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to get his attention to let him know, look, whatever she's doing, that's her own individual right to do whatever she wants to do. You are in charge of you, see? And that as you get in charge of yourself, see, but if you lose your temper and you're totally out of control, then you're gonna have problems. And it can get to the point where I can't help you and nobody can help you. So it was something that I had to just get in his face and let him know that, look, I'm here for you, but I'm not running from you either, because I'm not afraid of you, but I care about you. So I need you to get control of yourself. So we're going to take some deep breaths and realize that it's not the end of the world. We're going to just relax and we're going to get control of ourselves. And so that was something that I had to do, a week or so ago.
People don't understand how serious, like, that could have been the difference between him ruining his life and going to the clink.
That's right.
Or just being able to have that support and that guidance to be able to work through it. Because we all have those moments.
That's right. We all
have these moments. And it ultimately comes down to that sinking into the self-control, sinking into the values that we grew up with, having the understanding of what your identity is. This isn't who I am. I can't allow myself to I'll not be with the person before I sacrifice who I am supposed to be, right? So to understand that guys like yourself are equipped to be able to have those conversations and are qualified or are certified to be able to have those conversations. That's tremendous. It's amazing that you've been so consistent with it and have maintained it. Let me ask you this, and then I'm going to let you go. What do you want Garry Cobb's legacy to be, and what do you think it is?
Well, I think my legacy, I would have to say, I really got involved with Legends because of my relationship with Troy Vincent. I met Troy because I was covering the Eagles and he was playing for the Eagles. And we used to have conversations, in the locker room. And I would be talking to him about the team. I would be telling him, we would be talking about different players. I was saying, such and such. I tell him, you need to have a talk with such and such. Tell him, man, because, he's not focused. He's not focused. He's having some success. And because I'm living in the community, I know some of the things the guy's doing off the field and things.
Did I hear what I hit you with, G. Cobb? Jeremiah Trotter. You need to get Trotter to focus back there. Troy needed to get him to focus. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, now Trotter was a young guy. He came in there. But Trotter was one of the guys. But anyway, but talking to those guys about the players, not from just a sports standpoint, but as talking about them as people growing.
Sure.
And as they grow as people, they're going to grow as players.
Yeah.
And so we would talk about that. And it's really fascinating, that I've been able to because of that relationship with Troy, to be able to see him develop some of the things we were talking about, then. So I guess the legacy would be that I was a leader who cared about the people, care about the different players, care about my teammates, and really just care about all the people in the communities, for that matter, throughout the country. I love people, and it's all about the people. That's what is supposed to be the most important thing, is that we create an atmosphere where people can thrive and live and enjoy their life and see families grow. I just had another little grandson,
Congrats.
that was born. Yeah. And so to see him, and what do I want for him? I want him to be everything he can be. I don't want anybody setting any limits on him. I want him to go after it, be the best you can be. And that's what I would say is my legacy, is I want to be able to help create an environment where people can do that. And I want that to be my legacy.
Love that. You got anything you promoting outside of Legends, and you want to give your radio show tagline? You want to give your television?
You could check out on Fox 29. You could see our pregame show. We got a postgame show. You could check out on Fox 29. Of course, we'll be talking about the Eagles on Saturday morning. Or Sunday morning, before they get ready to play Tampa Bay, and we'll be talking about them all week. I'll be making appearances on the radio shows and things, because I don't do it full time anymore. But I'm doing it, working mainly for Fox. So you can check me out in Philly on Fox 29, and we'll be having a good time talking Eagles and talking about them finding a way to take down the GOAT.
I think they can do it, man. I think they can do it.
I think they can. I definitely think they can.
Hey, Garry Cobb, G Cobb.
All right.
Money man. Hey, you the man, bro.
Hey, I really enjoyed it.
You the man. I'm gonna be hitting you up when I get everything. This is episode number 12. When I get through the first season of what we're doing and I put it all together, just know I'm coming for you.
Okay.
And we're gonna go to USC. We're gonna work in Philly. We're gonna, I know you're in the community. I know you went into politics and everything. So I'll be coming to you as one of the guys that obviously help lead the way on what it is I'm trying to do to build within the communities through our universities, so that I could create more opportunities for us the old heads.
That's right.
Being a resource, because we're the bridge. We're the gatekeepers.
That's right.
For so long, cats don't understand we are the gatekeepers. If you're going to have a successful program, you got to have us in the mix.
That's right.
You got to have us in the mix. And I'm working to create that bridging of the gap between us as players and universities and communities, so that we can create opportunities for ourselves and monetize ourselves while we're helping continue to monetize where it all started for us. So that's my ultimate goal, outside of being able to take this message to our kids. You know what I mean? I want them to hear from our successful men how this thing works, and hear these stories, man. I couldn't be more proud.
It's great stuff. It's great stuff, man. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I definitely would like to help in any way I can.
Hey, I will be calling. Believe you me, I will be reaching out. So
I made me think of one. I don't know if you know Kenny Jackson. I played with Kenny.
I do. Come on,
Penn State
Shank.
guy.
The Shank.
That's right.
The Shank. Of course, I know KJ, man.
That's right.
Yeah, and I know y'all played together too. Shank.
That's right.
He's a trip, but that ain't for on camera though. That's for when you come out here for the Super Bowl. We'll chop that one up. There's plenty of stories on that one.
Woo! Matt Millen. I know Matt well too.
Now that's that hard nosed LBU tough SOB.
Oh yeah,
that you
that's
talking
right.
about early on in the show.
Oh yeah,
nasty,
nasty.
That's
right.
Yeah, indeed. Well, hey, listen, everybody out there, you have just been blessed. That is Garry Cobb, the first Garry Cobb. There is a second, but there had to be a first before there could be a
There's a
second.
third now. That little guy is the third.
There's a third. Here we
Yep.
go. Here we go. Legacies, generations, levels to this thing, right?
That's right.
Hey, so make sure you check us out at the podcast, Up On Game Presents. We're always giving you new, great content, conversations with a legend. That's me. That's running the show on that. And as you can see, I ran point here and gave it to my man Garry Cobb, and boy, he gave y'all some gems. So make sure y'all tune in, make sure you subscribe, check out Up On Game on Saturdays, make sure you see the time on that. All right, check out Two Pros and a Cup of Joe as well. You know, I do that all week as well. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Check back, we'll have some more distinguished people coming on. So until next time, we appreciate you, G Cobb. It's been a pleasure. Very, very, very humbled by the interview, man, and we'll keep this thing going. So everybody take care. Till next time.